Hey guys, just a very quick video. Apologies, I can't be bothered to write. I'm in a rush today and I've got other things to get on with. Truthfully, the Makerfield by-election and the Aberdeen by-election, you can be surprised or not by, but in terms of where the country is and what difference it will make, it's somewhere around zero. I don't think that the result for the Tories in Aberdeen is replicatable across the rest of the country. That is very much about Labour turning to the Tories in response to the impact of net zero, which has devastated the Aberdeen economy, which is ironic considering the Tories basically helped to cause most of the problem, particularly Jeremy Hunt, but that's what it is. And in Makerfield, you had a mixture of Burnham being personally popular, but also simply people wanting to get rid of Starmer and him being seen as the most viable vehicle to do that. That's it. No, I don't think that is particularly replicatable across the rest of the country as well. In terms of what happens next, Burnham is obviously going to challenge Starmer, and I hope Starmer fights. Not because I hold a flame for Keir Starmer, a man that I really do hold in very low regard, but actually because the fact that I think Burnham is an incredibly bad candidate. He's only popular now because he's not actually been present or forced to deal with the complexities and real problems that we've got. You know, screaming Manchesterism and then making a series of promises that he can't afford to make is about the max that you've had from him. And I think that if there is a contest where he's actually forced to answer stuff and everything else, I think that it will be very educational for Labour MPs who will suddenly realise that he's basically wafer thin, but actually for the nation as a whole. Either way, that I still think that it's pretty likely, if not certain, that he will win the leadership. I expect any bounce from Burnham to be minimum, somewhat like if you tossed a concrete ball off the side of a building. If he's in by September, I would imagine he will be deeply unpopular by December, and that excludes the reactions to the financial markets. The 10-year gilt has already moved heavily, indicating the financial markets are less than impressed. You can expect increasing volatility from those over the next few months as whatever happens. In terms of where we are as a country, I think all of it's irrelevant, which is why none of my friends, as I said on Twitter, are even talking about it. I've not had a single person actually ask me. No, that's incorrect. I had one friend yesterday ring me up who talked about politics, who briefly touched on it, and even he said he doesn't think it'll make any difference who wins the by-election, who's even leader of the Labour Party. And he'd be right. It is now a race, and let's break it down, between the left and the right, because I think that we are in a multi-party moment. It's a race between the left and the right to come up with an analysis of why we are here, and also a plan on what to do. And on that, for all its many complaints towards the right about slot politics, left, right, and centre, they are streets ahead of the left in terms of grasping the amount of change needed, and actually to slowly edge in the direction of what needs to happen. The left is still living in denial, and Andy Burnham is not going to help that, because fundamentally Andy, I suspect, Mr. Burnham, is very like Keir Starmer. And that is, they're both people who are products of a system that they largely think needs a bit of a nip-tuck, a bit of nationalisation here, a few new rules here and everything else. But beyond that, it's fine. Whereas I think that the country now is crying out for real, genuine change. And I think the economy, if you look at the borrowing figures and everything else, definitely can simply not survive the status quo. And so, I'm going to go for a run and some other bits and basically just ignore it all. And I suggest you do as well. It's going to be an entertaining few weeks, months, but that's about it. To be honest, I still stand by something I've read, written, and spoken about a lot previously, which is I don't think any real substantial change will come until we actually have a genuine crisis. We are in a crisis, but I'm talking about something that starts bringing it to a head. And that should really worry us, because for all of the many, many claims made by particularly the left and the liberal left over the events of the last 2 to 3 weeks, let's be honest, it wasn't Nigel Farage that made people go out and protest in Southampton or in Belfast or in anywhere else that this is happening. This is now becoming the norm across the country, and that's because the disconnect between what the public wants and is demanding with a sense of urgency is complete in relation to what the political class as it's currently constructed is willing to deliver. That's it. Bye bye.